to Kidmissing TV. Today we're going to talk about the Bibb County John Doe. John Doe drowned in Centreville, Alabama on March 27, 1961 after being involved in a car accident. John Doe was a passenger. He hitchhiked. He appeared to be between the ages of 14 and 17. He had a scar on his upper right forehead. Again, this happened in Centreville, Alabama. He was about 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed about 120 pounds. He told the driver he was a runaway with no direction in mind, but also supposedly told other drivers that he rode with he was going in the Navy, because it was either that or an orphanage because his parents were splitting up. But they all said the same thing. He clearly was not old enough to go in the Navy. So, the driver survived. That's how we know what he told the driver. Unfortunately, he did not. He broke his neck when the driver hit the guardrail and they went into the water, and he drowned. We know he hitched rides with at least 3 other drivers, and they were somehow, and I'm not sure how, but they were somehow able to interview these drivers and get more information that he gave. Fortunately, he didn't give his name. One of them said he may have been institutionalized at some point. In addition, he may have stayed with family in Centreville, Alabama, and in South Carolina. In fact, his cigarette pack was tax stamped in South Carolina. Oddly, the driver he was in the accident with was killed a short distance away in another car accident. Really weird. In October. Remember, this happened in March. Strange coincidences, you know? There was a blurry photo that the boy carried with an inscription police describe as fond. Well, why aren't you releasing this picture and releasing the back of it to see if those of us online can figure out exactly what it says? And to see if someone recognizes their own picture. Several families came forward, but one by one their loved ones were ruled out. If you have any information about John Doe, you can call 1-800-THE-LOST. That's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They're the ones that did his facial reconstruction. And I find it interesting, by the way, in another case coming down the road, they were talking about how many cases were in that state, and that got me thinking. Every case should get me thinking, but that really got me thinking. How many cases are in each state? So, printed it out. I'm not going to read every single one of them to you and bore you to tears, but I will say this. In the state that I am from, which is Massachusetts, there are 126 either missing or unidentified persons. Now, my guess here in Massachusetts, based on what I know, is that most of them are from the large cities. Boston, Worcester, and Springfield, the 3 largest cities, in that order. I think that's where most of them are from. Actually, a startling number from Worcester. Here in the small towns, we don't have as many. That's not to say we don't have any, because we do. Just look at Doe Network. You'll see a little boy missing from the next town over from me, a town called Webster. You'll see a man unidentified in the town called Webster. So, it's not unheard of. It's just that most of these would be big cities. That's why California, for instance, has the most, with 2,133 missing and unidentified persons. California has several very large cities and a higher population overall. Juxtapose that to Maine, which only has 108, which is still a lot for a state with a population the size of Maine, missing and unidentified persons. The least were in North Dakota. There were 31. I found that interesting because the smallest state, which is Rhode Island, where did Rhode Island go? Dagnabbit, Rhode Island was on this list. I can't find it, but anyway, had a few, but not a lot, which didn't surprise me, but it surprises me North Dakota has less, although North Dakota probably has an equivalent population. My other neighboring state, Connecticut, has 197 missing and unidentified persons. Just those are the states that we've talked about here. Now, Bibb County is Alabama, and in Alabama, there are 204. But we'll talk about more about that when we get to a boy that is actually missing from Arizona, where they talk about how many cases they have. And I love it. In Arizona, I did notice that when they have young John Does, like, you know, that are kids or teens, they call them John Doe Jr. I think that's cute. Sad that they need it, but I think it's cute that they differentiate it that way. I just think that little addition of junior just makes you more of a person. Because John Doe certainly doesn't sound too much like a person, you know? But thank you for joining me. Have a great day. I will see you next time when we talk about the case of Kenny Joe Johnson, who was 14 when he disappeared from Dubuque, Iowa. I'll see you then.